Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zooming straight from ancient biology right down to the incredible and, honestly, sometimes terrifying bite force of modern bugs. You know, we pass by insects every single day, but we rarely stop to consider the millions of years of microscopic engineering happening right beneath our feet. So we're going to trace this fascinating evolutionary timeline that connects the earliest ancestors of insects directly to the powerful jaws of the creatures you might just find in your own kitchen. Let's get into it.
Okay, 75%. Let that number sink in for a second. That is the massive share of all recorded living species globally that insects occupy. When you really stop to think about it, it represents a level of evolutionary success that is truly mind-boggling. Out of all the varied life forms on this planet, mammals, birds, reptiles, fish, insects absolutely, undeniably dominate. But how did one specific group of animals manage to conquer the planet so thoroughly and adapt to almost every environment on Earth?
Well, the secret to their incredible variety and their ability to survive pretty much anywhere lies entirely in how they eat. More specifically, it's all about the specialization of their mouths. Think about it. To take over the world, you have to be able to eat whatever the world throws at you, right? Over millions of years, insect mouths evolved to chew, suck, pierce, and lap up an astonishing array of nutrients. It is this sheer adaptability that really served as the evolutionary key to their global dominance.
So the crucial point here is understanding exactly how these mouths actually work. And that brings us to SMI, which stands for Structural Mouthpart Interaction. Now you can think of SMI as a kind of biological multi-tool. It's a mechanism where completely distinct parts of an insect's mouth interact and work together in concert to process various types of food. This isn't just a simple hinge. It's a complex, highly interactive system of biological machinery. And this mechanism served as the foundational building block for millions of years of insect survival. But the history of how this mechanism evolved has actually been a bit of a mystery until recently.
To figure out where this biological multi-tool actually came from, we have to look at some groundbreaking research. Professor Ryutaro Machida from the University of Tsukuba led a massive joint project with researchers from Japan, Germany, and Switzerland. And to physically unlock the secrets of ancient insect mouths, they used non-destructive synchrotron micro-CT scans, which is essentially biological spy tech. This incredibly advanced imaging technology allowed the team to look deep into the functional morphology of these tiny structures without destroying the precious specimens, giving us this high-definition window into the distant evolutionary past.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. For years, the scientific consensus was that the earliest ancestral insects had very simple mouths, and that this complex SMI was a much later evolutionary upgrade. But Professor Machida's team completely flipped that assumption on its head. Their discovery proved that those ancient ancestors actually possessed complex SMI right from the very beginning. The sophisticated machinery was literally there on day one.
And this discovery reveals an incredible evolutionary zigzag. The earliest ancestors started with SMI right out of the gate. But, evolution isn't always a straight line. Insects like dragonflies and certain bugs surprisingly lost this SMI mechanism somewhere along the way, evolving away from it. Then, later insects like cicadas, bees, butterflies, and flies emerged, and they evolved entirely new, highly specialized forms of these structural mouthpart interaction.
This really stands as a testament to the sheer adaptability of that original ancient blueprint. Because the earliest insects had this foundational SMI mechanism, their descendants were able to modify it into incredible specializations. It's what allowed butterflies and bees to develop absorbing mouths to drink nectar, while giving flies the ability to lap up nutrients. It's just a beautifully diverse array of specialized interactions, and it all stems from one ancestral starting point.
Okay, so we've looked at the ancient evolutionary macro picture. Let's shift gears and see how this ancient blueprint applies today by zooming in on one specific modern-day evolutionary marvel, the American cockroach. Yep, the exact same bug that scurries across your kitchen floor in the middle of the night and usually prompts a scream is actually a masterclass in biomechanical engineering. To measure this modern power, we can look to a study published in PLOS One by Tom Wyman, Benjamin Wipfler, and their team. They actually managed to capture the exact biomechanics and the raw data of a cockroach's bite.
And what the researchers found is genuinely impressive. A modern roach's biting and chewing capabilities are lightning fast and immensely powerful. In fact, their mandibles can generate a bite force that is 50 times stronger than their own body weight. That is enough force to let them chew through remarkably tough materials like wood and leather with relative ease.
And the most amazing part? All of this modern biomechanical power, this incredible force generation, is directly built upon those ancient SMI foundations we were just talking about. This is millions of years of evolutionary perfection, fine-tuned into a fast, powerful chewing machine.
So, what does this all mean? Why does it matter? Well, the key takeaway here is the unbroken chain of biology. The terrifyingly powerful, lightning-fast bite force of a modern roach isn't just some random accident of nature. It is directly built upon that microscopic ancestral SMI blueprint, the very same one discovered by Professor Machida's synchrotron scans. It shows us that to fully understand the capabilities of the animals around us today, we really have to look deep into their ancient evolutionary past.
As we wrap up this explainer, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. If a creature as common and, let's face it, as simple as a cockroach holds millions of years of hidden, complex engineering right there in its jaws, what other ancient biomechanical secrets are thriving just outside your door?